This is 20 scary people who claim to be from space. You know, when you sit back and think about it, one day in the future, if we keep going the way we're going, we're going to have people that conventionally tell us that they're from space. They may have been born on Mars or somewhere in space, maybe the International Space Station or something like that. So this may be a reality soon, if not already. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's check this video out.
Humanity has long been captivated by the idea of aliens in outer space. And yet, to this day, we're yet to find solid evidence of extraterrestrial life. But what if they've already entered our planet long ago and have been coexisting with us all along? From a young child allegedly from Mars to a woman who had a relationship with an alien in outer space, here are 20 scary people who claim to be from space. Number 20. The Man from Mars. On June 11, 1996, Boriska Kiprianovich was born in Volgograd, Russia. That's what records here on Earth claim. At a young age, Boriska claimed that he wasn't originally born on our planet, but rather, he was first conceived and born on the red planet, Mars. Boriska's parents and teachers claimed that he began speaking a few months after birth and that he was reading and drawing by the age of 1.5. By the time he was in nursery school, he had already shown superior language skills and impressive memory. For the most part, it seemed like Boriska was simply a genius. However, at a tender age, Boriska was telling adults about how he remembers his past life. According to Boriska, he was a Martian pilot who fled to Earth following a devastating nuclear war on Mars. He describes Martians as tall, technologically advanced beings, some of whom are immortal. Boriska even claims that survivors of the cataclysmic event still live underground on Mars, breathing carbon dioxide. Boriska's stories would have easily been dismissed as a story woven by a child, but astonishingly, he knows accurate information about space despite being a kid. However, this could easily be attributed to Boriska's parents allowing him to read astronomy books that might be far too advanced for his age. The young child also claims that humanity is at risk of going through the same war that erased Martians on the surface of the red planet. Scientists are divided. Some see as detailed recollections as a result of an overactive imagination, or cryptomnesia, a psychological phenomenon where forgotten memories resurface without being recognized as such. For some, Boriska's claims are nothing but a work of fiction, but there are also those who truly believe that Boriska truly once lived on Mars. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now. Number 19. Elizabeth Clarer. A woman born in South Africa in the small town of Mui River in 1910, Elizabeth Clarer wasn't anything extraordinary. She lived a mundane life, but a single day changed her entire life. On April 7, 1956, while feeding their puppies in their farmhouse located on a hilltop near Drakensberg, South Africa, 7-year-old Elizabeth allegedly saw a flying object. It came towards her, and she was transported to a 60-foot-long scout ship. She was later dropped off to a larger cigar-shaped mothership where she encountered extraterrestrial beings. Rather than harm her, these beings were allegedly peace-loving, and with their advanced technology, they had established a great society. From 1954 to 1963, these beings, whom she referred to as Venusians, visited her multiple times. Elizabeth claimed that after talking with these beings several times, she grew fond of one of them, a being named Akon. She claimed that Akon was an astrophysicist from Meton, a planet in the Proxima Centauri system. Elizabeth further shared that Akon explained she was a reincarnated Venusian and his long-lost soulmate. Their love story reached a peak when Akon presented her with a silver ring that enhanced their telepathic connection, leading to their romantic union on Cathkin Peak Plateau. In 1959, Elizabeth claimed that Akon...
Whoa. At what age? Because they said this first started happening when she was 7 years old. So, to me, that alien just committed a crime. Am I the only one that was paying attention to the timeline? So I'm trying to listen to hear what age did this all take place? Because that's crime where I'm from. I don't know about anybody. That's a crime.
Took her to Meton, where she spent several months. According to her, Meton was a utopian world with no cities or monetary systems, abundant resources, and advanced technology. During her stay, she gave birth to a son named Ailing, who remained on Meton to be educated while Elizabeth returned to Earth. She described Meton as a place where homes were scattered in park-like settings, and energy was harnessed directly from the atmosphere. With how otherworldly Elizabeth's story was, literally and figuratively, only conspiracy theorists and UFOologists took her seriously. On the other hand, the scientific community merely dismissed her claims. Regardless, Elizabeth's story threw her at the center of the UFO community. She even wrote a book entitled Beyond the Light Barrier, published in 1980, which detailed her extraterrestrial encounters and her life on Meton. Elizabeth continued to claim that she was a messenger of peace for the Venusians and that she was here to share more about their advanced civilization. Number 18. Whitley Steber. Louis Whitley Steber, born June 13, 1945, is an American writer known for his horror novels. However, aside from stories he created with his mind, he's also known for sharing his non-fictional encounters with non-human entities. Steber is infamous for his claim about being taken by non-human beings on the evening of December 26, 1985. However, instead of referring to his abductors as extraterrestrial creatures or aliens, he refers to them as the visitors. Despite this clarification, many continue associating Steber's encounter with aliens who visited here on Earth and took Steber to their world. Number 17. Gray Aliens. Also known as the Greys, gray aliens are allegedly among the creatures here on our planet that were originally from outer space. These beings are typically described as small humanoid beings with gray skin, large heads, and big black almond-shaped eyes. They usually stand between 3 to 4 feet tall and are characterized by their slender bodies and long, thin limbs. Basically, the Greys are the most stereotypical extraterrestrial depiction we have in popular media. The Greys are often said to communicate telepathically, transmitting thoughts and emotions directly into the minds of abductees. This form of communication is described as instantaneous and clear, bypassing the need for spoken language.
I don't know about y'all, but I don't want nobody in my mind talking to me. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm not a fan of it. No, I don't want nothing, because that just goes to show how much control over me you can have if you don't already have it already. And no, stay out of my mind. So we need some kind of little helmet to put on to where we could block their signal or something. Somebody needs to develop.
Many accounts suggest that the Greys possess highly advanced technology, including spacecraft capable of incredible speeds and maneuverability, as well as devices used during abductions for levitation and memory suppression. There are several theories about where the Greys come from. Some believe they're extraterrestrial beings from another planet or galaxy, possibly Zeta Reticuli, as suggested by some abduction accounts. Others propose that they could be interdimensional travelers, or even time-traveling humans from the future. The Greys are frequently mentioned in conspiracy theories involving secret government projects and cover-ups. In fact, some even go as far as to suggest that governments have made clandestine arrangements with these aliens, allowing for human abductions in exchange for advanced technology. Number 16. Kelly Hopkinsville Encounter. In August 1955, the Sutton family living in the small rural community of Kelly near Hopkinsville, Kentucky, experienced a night they never forget. On the evening of August 21, 1955, the entire Sutton family, consisting of 5 adults and 7 children, including their family friend Billy Ray Taylor, arrived at the Hopkinsville police station claiming that for nearly 4 hours they had been attacked by several creatures. Small humanoid creatures with glowing eyes and metallic skin that seemed invincible to anything. This was how the story of the Hopkinsville goblins began. According to the terrified witnesses, the creatures displayed incredible agility, often flipping away into the darkness or disappearing when hit. At one point, one of the entities allegedly grabbed Taylor's hair and caused chaos around the farmhouse. After fending off the alleged goblins, the families packed into their cars and rushed to the Hopkinsville police station. They arrived in a state of panic, reporting their ordeal and claiming to have been fighting off up to 15 of these creatures. Seeing how distraught the kids and adults were, the police, along with state troopers, rushed to the farmhouse. However, aside from an unkempt farmhouse, they found no other trace of the Silver Green Men. Despite the lack of evidence, the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter remains one of the most renowned alien encounters to this day. Those who are skeptical about the family's encounter believe that rather than aliens, the family must have encountered something mundane, owls. Others propose psychological factors or even elaborate pranks, although those involved vehemently denied any hoax. Skeptics also pointed to the possibility of the witnesses being under the influence of alcohol, despite the family's matriarch Glennie Langford insisting that no alcohol was allowed on the property. Number 15. George Adamsky. George Adamsky was a Polish-American author who lived in Southern California. Most of his life was ordinary until the 1920s. This marked the beginning of Adamsky's interest in the esoteric occultist religion Theosophy. By 1930, Adamsky was already a minor figure on the California occult scene. Eventually, he founded the Royal Order of Tibet in Laguna Beach, a group that had meetings in the quote-unquote Temple of Scientific Philosophy. Eventually, Adamsky moved to a ranch near Palomar Mountain, where Adamsky, his wife, and several of their close friends dedicated their time to studying religion, philosophy, and farming. It wasn't until the 1950s that he became infamous due to his sensational claims of alien contact. His interest in the cosmos was so strong that he even set up an observatory near Palomar Mountain. It was here, in 1946, that he claimed to have witnessed a massive cigar-shaped UFO during a meteor shower. Adamsky's most famous encounter allegedly took place on November 20, 1952, in the Colorado desert.
That sounds like a Muamua, don't it? So now we need to figure out how far back these sightings of a Muamua go. Because that's what that one sounds like to me. Cigar-shaped light. It's what we've been talking about here recently. The one that's in space. I don't know if it's still there now. Currently, we haven't gotten an update, but sounds similar to me, right?
Encounter allegedly took place on November 20, 1952, in the Colorado desert. Adamsky, along with 6 friends, reported seeing a large metallic saucer-shaped craft. According to Adamsky, a being named Orthon emerged from the craft. They claimed Orthon was a humanoid with long blonde hair and tanned skin. This being also managed to communicate with Adamsky telepathically and by using hand signals. Now this might sound a little familiar. Remember Boriska, the young boy who claimed to remember his past life from Mars? Just like Boriska, Adamsky claimed that Orthon warned humanity about the dangers of nuclear war and the importance of living in harmony with the universe. Seems like there's a common theme with these alleged extraterrestrial encounters. Adamsky claimed to have taken several photographs of UFOs, including one of Orthon's scout ship, which he captured using a 6-inch telescope. These images became iconic in UFO lore, though many skeptics pointed out their resemblance to everyday objects like a chicken brooder or a gas lantern. Number 14. Etheria Society. The Etheria Society, founded in the mid-1950s by Dr. George King, is among the organizations with extraterrestrials as part of its foundation. Extraterrestrials and yoga. It's an odd combination, but if you think about it, yoga, meditation, and the cosmos work well together, right? George King, a British yoga master, claimed that after a decade of intense practice, he achieved a state of cosmic consciousness, which made him a conduit for messages from advanced alien intelligences known as the Cosmic Masters. Basically speaking, he believed that he had achieved the ability to converse with extraterrestrials. Despite this odd belief, King's teachings emphasized the importance of service to others, spiritual healing, and the advancement of human consciousness. Over the years, the Society has established centers in both the UK and the US, where they continue to promote King's vision of a spiritually unified and enlightened humanity. Number 13. Travis Walton. Travis Walton was a 22-year-old logger working with a crew in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest near Snowflake, Arizona. On the evening of November 5, 1975, as the crew was driving home, they saw a bright light in the forest. Curiosity got the better of Travis, and he stepped out of the truck to investigate. What happened changed Travis' life. Suddenly, a beam of light struck Travis, knocking him to the ground. His friends, terrified, fled the scene, thinking Travis was dead. But 5 days later, Travis reappeared, dazed and confused, claiming to have been aboard an alien spacecraft. Travis' account of his abduction is filled with astonishing details. He described waking up in a hospital-like room, surrounded by small humanoid beings with large eyes and bald heads, beings that we now know.
So that's like, what are they doing to people? Like, what are they doing to us? They're getting us in these rooms, and are they changing us? Are they using us to create, like, I don't know, an alien human slash, hybrid slash being? I don't know. Are they using our bodies as vessels for them to walk around? What are they doing to us? That's what I just can't figure out. Like, if this stuff is going on, what are they doing? And we need to figure that out.
Known as the Greys. He claimed he was subjected to various medical examinations before being returned to Earth. The aftermath of Travis's disappearance was chaotic, to say the least. His co-workers reported the incident to the authorities, and a massive search was launched, but no trace of him was found. The crew members even underwent polygraph tests to rule out foul play, and their results indicated they were telling the truth. When Travis finally reappeared, everyone felt relieved that he was finally found, but after learning his story, it was met with skepticism. Skeptics have suggested various theories to explain Travis' experience, ranging from hallucinations to an elaborate hoax. However, the consistency of the accounts from Travis and his crew over the years has kept the mystery alive. Number 12. Billy Meyer. Edward Albert Meyer, better known as Billy, is the founder of a UFO religion called the Free Community of Interest for the Border and Spiritual Sciences and Ufological Studies. Born in the town of Bülich, Switzerland, Billy claims that he's an alleged contactee, an individual who has been contacted by extraterrestrials. He claimed his first encounter happened when he was just 5 years old, in 1942, when he was contacted by an elderly extraterrestrial named Sveth. Over the years, he said he communicated with other aliens, including a female Pleiadian named Semyase. Aside from his narratives, Billy also presented hundreds of photographs, videos, metal samples, and even sound recordings of UFOs. These materials have been both scrutinized and criticized extensively. Skeptics argue that the photographs are hoaxes, pointing out inconsistencies and alleging that some images were staged and edited. However, there are also supporters who believe that both his narratives and videos are too complex and detailed to be fabricated. Despite the doubts surrounding his belief, Billy continues to stand by his former claims. Number 11. Pentagon UFO. In 2020, the Pentagon officially released 3 videos that had been previously leaked, showing unidentified flying objects. This heightened people's belief about extraterrestrial visitations. These videos were captured by Navy pilots and featured fast-moving, unexplained aerial phenomena. The footage was taken during training flights, and the objects exhibited flight characteristics that defied known aviation technology. The release of these videos marked the first time the U.S. government had openly acknowledged the existence of UFOs. And with the government openly acknowledging the existence of these unknown flying objects, the number of people believing in alien existence and the fact that the government is hiding something has also increased. However, there are also those who claim that rather than aliens, these alleged UFOs are nothing but advanced technology from other nations, or simply natural atmospheric phenomena. Number 10. Betty and Barney Hill Incident. Betty and Barney Hill were an ordinary couple from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Betty was a social worker, and Barney worked for the U.S. Postal Service. They were also active in their community, participating in civil rights activities in their local Unitarian Universalist church. However, on the 19th of September in 1961, the couple's lives were changed forever. While driving back from a vacation in Canada, the Hills noticed a bright light in the sky. Initially thinking it was a plane, they soon realized it was behaving oddly, following them and changing direction swiftly. Curiosity turned to fear as the light descended closer to their car, forcing Barney to stop the vehicle. Barney, armed with binoculars, stepped out and saw what he described as beings through the windows of the craft. Terrified, he hurried back to the car, and the couple sped away. They then heard a series of beeping noises and experienced a strange tingling sensation before losing consciousness. When they came to, they were 35 miles down the road with no memory of how they got there. Odd, isn't it? Back home, the Hills discovered several unusual phenomena. Their watches had stopped, and the car had strange shiny spots that caused a compass needle to spin wildly. Betty's dress was torn and covered in a mysterious pink powder. Over the following days, Betty began having vivid dreams about the encounter, describing being taken aboard a spacecraft and examined by humanoid beings.
Now, when you have those dreams like that, I'm wondering, right? Just wondering, is that your brain trying to piece together what happened to you? These dreams, are you trying to piece together that void, that hole of information in your memory that you don't have, that's fuzzy, that's, is that the dream trying to piece it back together? That's what I'm thinking. And you do that until you get to the point to where everything is clear to you. Man.
The couple sought help and talked to various organizations to make sense of their encounter. Eventually, their search led them to Dr. Benjamin Simon, who performed hypnosis on the couple. Under hypnosis, both Betty and Barney recounted similar stories of being taken aboard the UFO, examined by extraterrestrial beings, and then returned to their car. Their experience was investigated by the Air Force as part of Project Blue Book, though it was ultimately filed as insufficient data. Yet to this day, it continues to be seen as one of the most believable contactee stories. Number 9. Ancient Astronauts. Ancient Astronauts. Perhaps you've already heard about them before. According to the ancient astronaut theory, there have been beings from the cosmos who visited our planet back in ancient times. Proponents of this theory believe that these beings significantly impacted human civilization, often being revered as gods by early humans. The theory first gained prominence in the 1960s through the works of authors like Erich von Däniken. Those who believe in this theory often point to the incredible structures left behind by ancient civilizations as proof that humanity has been guided by beings from the cosmos. Erich von Däniken, in particular, argued that many ancient structures, such as the pyramids of Egypt and the Nazca Lines in Peru, were either influenced or directly built by extraterrestrial visitors. According to him, ancient texts and artworks around the world contain evidence of these encounters, depicting what he interprets as astronauts, spacecraft, and advanced technology. However, mainstream scientists and archaeologists widely dismiss these claims as pseudoscience. Critics argue that there's no credible evidence supporting the idea of ancient extraterrestrial visits. Despite the lack of scientific support, the ancient astronaut theory continues to have many believers and proponents to this day. Number 8. Reptilian Humanoid. I don't know about you, but around the early 2000s and the early 2010s, several videos of reptilians were popularized on YouTube, and perhaps this isn't the first time you've heard about these beings. Now, for those who have never encountered this term, reptilians are humanoid beings that also have reptilian descriptions. However, there are also those who claim that reptilians have succeeded in concealing their non-human qualities. The history of these creatures can be traced back to ancient civilizations like the Greeks and Hindus. These two are known for their serpentine deities. The Ubaid lizardmen are also famous for examples of alleged reptilian people who have walked on our planet. However, modern stories of reptilians have mostly been popularized by David Icke. He claims that reptilians are beings from the Alpha Draconis star system. What's more, he also claims that these beings have infiltrated human governments and are manipulating global events from behind the scenes. According to Icke,
for some strange reason, I feel as though that wouldn't be too hard for them to do. Infiltrate the government and manipulate it. With it happening so much already. I don't see why they get much pushback. Just a thought, though.
Reptilians are responsible for many of the world's elite, including political leaders and influential families. So do these beings really exist? Well, with no scientific evidence, we can only speculate. Number 7. Nordic Aliens. Nordic aliens are another group of extraterrestrials that have allegedly assimilated themselves amongst humans without our knowledge. Nordic aliens, also known as Space Brothers, are often said to hail from the Pleiades star cluster, or Venus, though there's no concrete evidence to pin down their exact origin. And there are other sources that state that they're from a different location in space. According to some theories, these beings might even be ancient astronauts who visited Earth in the distant past. potentially influencing human civilizations and leaving behind advanced knowledge and technology. Sound familiar? Well, that's because Nordic aliens are almost the same as ancient astronauts. Nordic aliens are said to have a strikingly human-like appearance. They're typically described as tall, with fair skin, blue eyes, and blonde hair, exuding a serene and benevolent aura. Witnesses often report that these beings communicate telepathically and are deeply concerned for humanity's welfare, especially regarding environmental issues and world peace. Again, a seemingly common theme with extraterrestrials. Number 6. Starchild Skull. Just as its name suggests, the Starchild Skull is the remnant of a being who lived 900 years ago. It was discovered by a young girl in a cave in Mexico. When she informed the adults about her discovery, they were immediately intrigued by the bizarre and unusual shape of the skull. Its abnormality was further emphasized due to the fact that it was discovered alongside a normal human skull. At first glance, the Starchild Skull seems to be a deformed human skull, but a closer look reveals some extraordinary details. It's significantly lighter than a normal human skull, with bone that's unusually thin yet incredibly strong. The eye sockets are shallower, and the skull lacks an inion, which is the bump at the back of the skull. The Starchild Skull's overall shape is much different from typical human skulls. For this reason, it's believed to be alien in origin, and despite research claiming that its maternal line was human, the uncertainty behind its nuclear DNA keeps the Starchild Skull's mystery alive. Number 5. Ariel School UFO Incident. On September 16, 1944, 62 students, aged 6 to 12, reported seeing a silver disc-shaped craft land in a field near their school, the Ariel School in Rua, Zimbabwe. They described seeing beings with large black eyes and wearing tight-fitting black suits emerge from the craft. The children claimed that these beings communicated telepathically, delivering a warning about environmental destruction. Because of how audacious the children's claims were, the adults were immediately concerned. After all, the safety of their kids were on the line. It didn't take long before the story was sensationalized. Media outlets...
I ain't gonna lie. This story here had me thinking, at first, these kids witnessed something and we need to pay attention and watch them for the rest of their lives, and see if the story changes. The second theory was, this sounds like a government manipulation as well. Manipulate the kids because what are they always screaming? Global warming, global warming, global warming. We're destroying the planet, global warming. So what better way is to manipulate kids into echoing your same sentiment? Because people have a tendency to sometimes take it a little bit serious when they hear it coming from kids. You have that soft spot inside of you for kids. So what y'all think about that theory? I'm telling you, man, I don't know, just certain things, how they play out in my brain. I have to say it, get them out of there and let y'all know about it. So that is documented.
And UFO researchers descended on the school to interview the children. Notably, Harvard psychiatrist Dr. John Mack traveled to Zimbabwe to investigate. He conducted interviews with the children and concluded that their testimonies were credible, consistent, and had a big possibility of being real. As with many UFO encounters, the Ariel School incident faced skepticism. Some attributed it to mass hysteria or a hoax. Critics pointed out that 2 days before the incident, there were UFO sightings across southern Africa which were explained as the re-entry of a Russian satellite's booster rocket. Skeptics argued that this spectacle might have influenced the children's imaginations. Number 4. Antoniovillis Boas. Antoniovillis Boas was working late at night on his family's farm near São Francisco de Sales, Brazil, when he had an encounter that would change his life forever. It was October 16, 1957, when Antonio noticed a bright red star-like object in the sky. As it approached, he realized it was a strange egg-shaped craft with a rotating dome. He claimed that before he could act, he was forcibly taken aboard by humanoid beings. These beings were described as having small stature, large slanted blue eyes, high cheekbones, and white hair. Inside the craft, he claimed that he underwent a series of bizarre and invasive examinations. However, after the examinations, he was given a tour of the spacecraft. Now, while there's a high possibility that Antonio's claims are merely a hoax, several people continue to believe that what he experienced was real. Number 3. Pascagoula Abduction. On the night of October 11, 1973, two shipyard workers, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, decided to go fishing on the Pascagoula River in Mississippi. However, what was supposed to be a fun day out turned into an unforgettable experience for the two friends. As they fished, a strange whirring sound broke the silence, followed by the appearance of flashing blue lights. Suddenly, an oval-shaped craft descended from the sky, and three bizarre creatures emerged. These beings were about 5 feet tall, with gray wrinkled skin and peculiar features such as carrot-like protrusions on their heads and lobster-like claws instead of hands. Naturally, both men were paralyzed with fear. Inside the spacecraft, the two were allegedly subjected to what seemed like a medical examination before being released back to their original spot around 20 minutes later. In a state of shock, the men reported their encounter to the local sheriff's office, who initially was skeptical but eventually took their story seriously after the men passed polygraph tests and were found to be credible witnesses. With the claim of a polygraph being carried out, the Pascagoula abduction is one of the most accepted encounters in the UFO community. Number 2. Disappearance of Frederick Valentic. On October 21, 1978, Frederick Valentic, a 20-year-old Australian pilot, embarked on a routine training flight from Moorabbin Airport to King Island, Tasmania. Little did anyone know that this flight would become one of the most perplexing aviation mysteries, often linked to extraterrestrial phenomena. You see, Frederick's flight was supposed to be a short and straightforward one. However, after passing over the Bass Strait, Frederick reported seeing a strange metallic object with a green light hovering near his Cessna 182 aircraft. In his last transmission to Melbourne Flight Service, Frederick expressed his concern, stating,
"And then on them little single-engine planes, do you have anything on there equipped to defend yourself if you come across anything?" That's why I was just looking at the plane as it was flying, the one that they're showing in the video, and I'm like, that don't look like it has anything on it to try to protect yourself if something tries to come after you. I don't like that.
It's hovering, and it's not an aircraft. Soon after, communication was lost. Despite an extensive air and sea search, no trace of Frederick or his plane was ever found. The incident remains shrouded in mystery to this day. And now it's time for today's topic. This photo shows one of the many scary people who claim to be from space. Hideous and horrifying. These words are perfect for this being, who allegedly came from another planet. But how could this be? Weren't aliens supposed to be hideous, but in a different way? When imagining what an alien looks like, you'll probably either conjure an image of a gray being with big dark eyes, thin limbs, and a big head, or an image of a being that looks exactly like a normal, attractive person. This is how the media usually popularizes extraterrestrial beings. However, if this truly is an extraterrestrial creature, it would turn out that we've been portraying them wrongly since we've come to understand the possibility of their existence. Do you believe in aliens? And if so, what do you think they look like? If you ask me, I think they'd copy our likeness the best they could before visiting. After all, we've sent out messages in space and even described our planet and its inhabitants in 1977. Number 1. Leveland UFO Case. On the evening of November 2, 1957, a wave of UFO sightings began in Leveland, Texas. It started with simple, unexplained lights seen by workers, followed by a large rocket-like object looming in the skies. On the same night, a total of 15 similar reports flooded the sheriff's office. Witnesses described seeing a bright oval-shaped object that hovered over the town, causing electrical disturbances and making car engines fail. The local sheriff, Ware Clem, and his deputies experienced the phenomena themselves and filed corroborating reports. The U.S. Air Force, through its Project Blue Book, was quick to investigate. With so many people seeing the alleged UFO, many were convinced that this time, an extraterrestrial ship had entered into our planet's atmosphere. The result they came up with? It's that the residents merely saw what is known as ball lightning. However, this theory was met with skepticism, especially since there were no storms reported in Leveland that night. The Air Force's inability to provide a satisfactory explanation let theories and speculations run wild to this day.